In this section, we will move to one of the most important data structures in Python, which is the list, and we will see how this data structure is taking us one step bigger in building complex applications. Let me motivate you. If I asked you to write a program that reads 1000 integers and print them reversed, can you do that with what we learned so far? Or read 1000 integers and find pairs of numbers with sum 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So far, the only thing that we learned so far is just to define a variable. So we could say, okay, let's define 1000 variable. But this is crazy, and this is impractical. Python provide us with a new defined data type named as the list. The list will allow us to have objects of many different data types in a very convenient way. The word data structure is related to a very important course that you should study named as data structures course. Data structures, in simple word, is a class that have some data and many useful methods over it. We will study different data structures like the list, the set, dictionary, string, and they should give you a very good sense what is a data structure before you start this nice course. So what is a list? The list is an ordered sequence of items. So far, by the way, we learned about one type of sequences, which is the string. When we say a string equal hello, this is actually a sequence of 5 items. So list is a new thing that also an ordered sequence of items. One of the important things to know, the list can have different data types, and also it is a mutable class. By different data types, we can say that the list can have something like an integer and a float and a string, which isn't something easy in other programming languages like C++ and Java. It's also a mutable class. Remember, a mutable class is something that you cannot change its internal values. We said before something like int, float, string, they are immutable. We cannot play with their content. But if you have an object of type list, you can play and modify its content. So let's see an example for how to create a list. To create a list, you write a variable equal, so far so good, and then you open brackets, this guy and this guy here. And then you start to put a bunch of items, comma, separated. Now, this means that we have 4 items together in a single variable. So we have a single variable here referenced or attaching to 4 items in the memory in a way or another. Now, what you can call the length method over the mylist to give you 4. Remember, so far we were giving the length method, the length function, we were giving the string. Actually, the length can work on things that are iterable, the things that have a sequence of items. That's why the length can work over the list, can work over the string. So the length of the list is 4 items. You can use the in operator. I can say 2 in my list, the answer is true because 2 exists. 9 in my list, the answer is false because it doesn't exist. Now, an important question is, what if I would like to print these items? You can definitely do something like print my list, and it's going to print you the 4 items. But if you would like to have a control, Python gives us several ways to do that. One of them is just to use the for loop. You can say for item in my list and then print the item. The item will be 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. We again already experienced using the for loop with the strings. Again, the for loop is something that can iterate on something that is sequence, something that is iterable. So remember always the word iterable or the word iteration mean we have multiple steps that we can do. In this example here in line 17, we can see that the mylist can have several items like 1 here, which is integer, Mustafa, which is string, 4.5, which is float. So we have different data types. The second and most important feature in Python is what we call here about list, the indexing. Let's initialize the numbers or assign numbers to this bunch of numbers. One of the ways to access the elements is to understand that we can access them by index. What is an index? An index is a number from 0 to the length of the list minus 1. So you see, you can imagine the memory as following. We have here the 5 numbers consecutively in the memory this way. You can imagine them this way. And we have index 0 for the first number, 1 for the second number, 2 for the third number, 3 for the fourth, and 4 for the fifth number. The first observation is they are from 0 to 4, not from 1 to 5. In programming languages, many of them, we are fan of what we call zero-based indexing. It means if you have n items, we are using 0 to n minus 1 items instead of 1 to n items. So let's try to play with the indexing here. I can say numbers of 0. Numbers of 0 is this position in the memory, which has now value 10. If you say numbers of 0 equal 9, this item only would be changed to 9. Now I can say numbers of 2 times equal 3. 2 is the third element, so the third element has 7. 7 times 3, it will be changed to 21 in the memory. Numbers of 4 plus equal 1. Numbers of 4 is the fifth element here, plus 1 would be 4. I can say print numbers of 4, which is going to print now 4. In addition, and based on that, we can now use even indexing to print a list. So I can say, for example, for index in range 5 or in range of length of the numbers. And then I can say print numbers of index. So the index will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. As you see, we are dealing with every item here as if it's a separate variable. I can say numbers of 0, numbers of 1, numbers of 2. This is our way to refer to a specific item in the list. Interestingly, the plus and asterisk operators are defined in the list. Let's say that you have here my list of 3 items and another list of 2 items. If you wrote my list plus another list, this will create a new list of these items concatenated to these items. Remember that strings, we also managed to do the concatenation in strings. It is the same concept exactly. And here is also something similar to strings. You can say something like 2 times another list. So the another list here will be duplicated to 2 items. And more practical example that you will see a lot in coding, you can, if let's say that you would like to get 6 zeros, for example, as an initialization. I would like a list of 6 items that all of them are 0. You can write something like 0 here in a list, then multiply 6, it will generate for you list of 6 items. And again, you can plus equal over it, 2 items here and 1 item here. It's going to concatenate all of these items together. The last thing that I would like to say, it is in this slide, it should be in the next one. If you try to access a list with an index that doesn't exist, it will tell you index error. Check out this list here, it has 3 items. The index is 0, 1, and 2. So your maximum index is 2. If I say here my index of 3, it will give you an index error. That's all. Before moving to the next video, please make sure to play with the lists.